If you've ever gone through a stretch of isolation working from home for weeks, moving to a new city where you know nobody, or just being stuck indoors, you might have noticed something strange. It's not just boredom. Boredom is I have nothing to do. This is different. Your sleep shifts. You wake up at AM for no reason. Your motivation just evaporates. Small problems like spilling coffee feel like life ruining disasters. And sometimes your mind starts doing things you don't recognize. You get stuck in loops. You feel detached from reality. If you felt this, you probably thought, what is wrong with me? Why am I being so weak? Look directly at lens that isn't weakness, that is biology. Today, we are talking about what isolation does to your brain and body, but we aren't using self help books. We aren't using guesses. We are using the most intense, high stakes, real world evidence humanity has. I'm talking about NASA's Human Research Program. I'm talking about researchers stuck in Antarctica for 9 months of darkness. I'm talking about solitary confinement studies. Because when you look at the data, one thing becomes terrifyingly clear. Your brain doesn't just dislike being alone, it treats it like a survival threat. Okay, first, we need to understand the hardware. Back in 2003, a neuroscientist named Naomi Eisenberger did a famous study at UCLA. She put people into Anfmery machine, that's the big loud donut that scans your brain activity. She had them play a digital game where they got excluded. They were socially isolated, and when she looked at the scans, she saw something impossible. The part of the brain that lit up was the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex. Cut to you. Try saying that 3 times fast. Here is why that matters. That is the exact same part of the brain that lights up when you break a bone. Think about that. To your brain, I am lonely and I have a broken leg look almost identical. Why? Because for millions of years, if you were separated from your tribe, you died, a lion ate you, you froze. So your brain evolved to make isolation hurt physically, so you would be forced to go find your group when you feel that ache in your chest from loneliness. That is your ancient survival software screaming at you. But it doesn't stop at pain, it changes how you see the world. When you are isolated for too long, your nervous system flips a switch. Scientists call this hypervigilance. Your brain assumes that because you are alone, you are unsafe. So it starts scanning for danger everywhere. This is the cruel irony of isolation. You become more sensitive to rejection. If someone sends you a neutral text, like we need to talk, a normal brain thinks okay. An isolated brain thinks they hate me. You might feel on edge, guarded, or unusually reactive. This is a defensive mechanism. Your brain is trying to protect you from an invisible predator, but in the modern world, it just makes you withdraw even more. So, what happens if you ignore the alarm? Let's go to the bottom of the world, Antarctica. NASA studies winter over cruise people who spend months in total darkness and confinement because it's the closest thing we have to a Mars mission on Earth. They found something called the third quarter phenomenon. No matter who you are, scientist, engineer, tough guy, right past the halfway point of the mission, things get weird. Mood drops, cognition slows down, and they develop the Antarctic stare. It's this spontaneous dissociation. You're physically there, but your mind has checked out. It's a trance state. Why? Because the brain needs food. And by food, I mean social and sensory stimulation. When you starve the brain of reality checks, conversations, new faces, sunlight, it starts to malfunction. In extreme cases, like solitary confinement, the brain will literally start hallucinating just to create some kind of input. Visual. Cut to you holding a clock or phone. 7:00 Chapter 4. The sleep collapse now. Before you hallucinate, something else breaks first. Sleep. In those Antarctic studies, they found that without social cues like commuting, meeting friends, seeing the sun, your circadian rhythm drifts. We rely on Zeitgebers, that's a fancy German word for time givers. People are Zeitgebers. Talking to a barista is a time cue. Remove them, and your sleep fragments. You lose slow wave sleep. That's the deep, restorative sleep where your brain cleans itself. Once that goes, focus drops, irritability spikes. You get brain fog. You aren't losing your mind. You are just exhausted on a cellular level. This is the part that actually scared me. Isolation doesn't just stay in your head, it changes your blood. When you are lonely, your body releases cortisol, the stress hormone. It's like running a car engine in the red zone, 24/7. Over time, this chronic stress confuses your immune system. NASA found that astronauts on long missions experience immune dysregulation. Their immune cells stop working as well. In fact, it gets so bad that it can cause viral reactivation. Viruses like chickenpox or herpes that are sleeping in your DNA can actually wake up because your immune system is too distracted by the stress of isolation to keep them suppressed. You aren't just sad, your biological armor is cracking. Okay, that was a lot of doom and gloom. But here is the incredible part: just as your brain is wired to panic when alone, it is wired to heal when connected. You can hack this system. If you are feeling isolated right now, here is your NASA approved checklist. Micro connections. You don't need a deep 3-hour heart to heart. You just need to signal safety. One voice note, one short call. Hearing a human voice calms the vagus nerve faster than a text ever will. Anchor your time. Fight the drift. Wake up at the same time. Eat at the same time. Force your body to have a rhythm even if you have nowhere to go. Move your body. Exercise burns off that excess cortisol. It tells your body, we ran away from the lion. We are safe now. Create novelty. Your brain is bored and scared. Give it a job. Learn something. Build something. Cook a new recipe. The most important takeaway is this: isolation changes you because your brain is trying to save you. It's not a personal failing, it's a biological mechanism. But mechanisms can be modified. Small, repeated doses of connection, a bit of routine, a bit of movement. That is how you pull your nervous system out of threat mode and back into the world. You've got this. Smile, see you in the next one.